Hello gamers, welcome back to another Gamer Jooce Need for Speed Heat video. If you're new to the channel, we make gaming lists, gaming videos, and everything on this channel revolves around gaming. So, if you're a true gamer, you'll subscribe to this channel. Now, if you read the title of this video, you'll know exactly what this video is going to be about. And no, this insane Corvette is not the cheapest car in Need for Speed Heat. This one actually came with the deluxe edition of Need for Speed Heat. This is the cheapest car in Need for Speed Heat, not including all the free cars you get along the way. And although I have yet to max out my level and unlock all the parts in the game, I still managed to spend about $255,000 on this car alone. You probably wouldn't expect to be able to spend that much on a Volkswagen Beetle, and what's more, this thing can keep up with freaking supercars and evade the police at heat level 4. I had a ton of fun building and racing this bucket. I'll probably do it again in the future with other inexpensive cars, and I will certainly be revisiting this car once I max out my level and unlock more parts from heat challenges. You've had a quick look at the end result. Now let's have a look at the process just in case you want to rebuild this beast for yourselves. Then we'll have a look at the races and pursuits this car was involved in, from the very beginning all the way to the initial purchase at the dealership. Okay, now before I buy the car, have a look at my funds. Not bad, right? $371,157. You wouldn't think there'd be an issue maxing this car out, but as I began building this car, I was actually worried I might not have enough cash. Instead of fast traveling straight to the garage, I decided to drive it there to see how it performed, handled corners, and listen to the exhaust notes. Right away, I was excited because of the potential this thing had. The exhaust notes didn't sound bad for being stock, and the top speed and acceleration were extremely slow, which made me excited because that just meant there was more potential. Even though I intended to turn this car into a track car, I still took it to a drift challenge, and even though I'm far from being the best drifter in Need for Speed Heat, I was still able to rack up some points despite how much grip this car had while stock. Though I will admit I wasn't even able to achieve 1 star on the challenge with the bug. Still, I feel like there's potential for this car to be a fun little drift car. Getting the bug to the garage, I started on performance right away. I learned as a kid playing Need for Speed Underground that it's better to have an ugly car with insane speeds than a pretty car with speeds that your grandma would be driving at. I quickly cycled through and maxed out the engine as much as the level 31 could, and did the same for the chassis and drivetrain sections of performance, being careful to pick the necessary parts to make this bug a track bug. Remember that $371,157 I had started with? Well, after spending $10,000 on the car and $214,000 on performance alone, I still had some change left over. And now it was time for my favorite part of Need for Speed customizations, the aesthetics of the car. I don't know if anyone else has a process in modifying their cars, but I always start with the body and apply the paint and vinyl wraps last. The reason I do this is because I feel as if the paint wouldn't do the car justice if you were to apply it before all of the body modifications. I was considering leaving the rims and tires stock because of the fact that you have to cycle through and find the same rims and tires for both the front and rear. But in the end, I decided to go big or go home and do the rims anyway. After finishing up the body mods and blacking out the windows, I was pretty happy with how it turned out. Frankly, I feel like it didn't even need a paint job or vinyl with how it was looking at this point. But of course, we decided to go big or go home, right? Thankfully, the creators of Need for Speed Heat have included a community tab under Paint and Wrap, where creative individuals can share their creative wraps to the world. I say thankfully because after all that time spent working on the car, I just really wanted to see how it performed. But even choosing a pre-made wrap proved to be difficult because of how many talented and creative creators uploaded their wraps for this car. Eventually, I ended up settling on the simple black and silver wrap that pulled the body mod together perfectly. Now it was time to hit the streets. I don't know about any of you, but I can hear a clear difference in the exhaust notes and it sounds incredible. Yeah, let me play a quick before and after for you guys. What do you think? Pretty crazy, right? Now, even though it sounds great, I don't know if it was worth the $214,000 I spent on performance mods. I needed to see if this thing would be able to win any races in order to win that money back. So I drove to the nearest event to see how this beastle would perform. And yes, I did combine the words beast and beetle for those of you wondering. Before the race even started, I was already worried. There was a Mercedes, BMW, Porsche, and even McLarens in this event. While not being the best driver, having a Beetle I spent only $255,000 on, the race went better than expected. Though I placed third and there was a huge gap between myself and the driver who took first place, the car managed to keep up with SUPERCARS. But being discouraged from how the race went, I thought for sure the cops were going to be able to bust me while driving this car even though I was only at heat level 2.
Listen up, we have a hotshot rolling around in a Volkswagen Beetle.
Luckily, I was able to escape. Having regained my confidence in this car from escaping the police, I decided to jump into another race. Though my driving wasn't much better and likely a lot worse from the first race as far as traffic, trees, and the walls were concerned, I managed to take first place in this race. Happy with the win, it was time to take the bug back to the garage, but first I had to escape from the level 3 heat I had acquired from winning the race. That soon turned into heat level 4 after causing a few police cruisers to wreck. At this point, I was starting to get worried because of how quickly I was taking damage and there was no gas stations in sight. I thought for sure the rep that I had gained from those races would have all been for nothing. But then things started to turn around.
I don't want to guess how much this is going to cost me. Not my problem.
I found a gas station and soon escaped the police. I managed to make it back to the garage and gain a level of respect. Not bad for the first night out with the souped up bug. Alrighty racers, if you made it through to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video enough to drop a like, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell while you're at it, because we are always dropping new content. And by the way, you were a gamer at the beginning of the video, but since you made it through to the end, you are now a racer. And as always, we'll see you on the next one.
You've been approved for some more parts. Check them out.